Oh man, I got a thing or two to say about Justin and Libby. I just took a public speaking class, but here I am. My heart's racing. I'm nervous. I haven't done this, so please forgive me if I, kind of spill the beans or something. Good evening, everyone. I appreciate all of you for taking the time out of this reception to give me your attention. It really means a lot. But for those of you who do not know me, my name is Brian Simonson. I've been one of JT's best friends since 2004. I can't believe I put up with you for almost 2 decades now. Just wanted to give you all a little bit of more context on how JT and I got to meet each other and stuff. It seems like everyone's got their own certain story, so I'll tell you mine, but it's probably not as interesting. I don't know. I grew up as an Army brat, right? My father served in the Army for about 25 years, and so it was difficult for me to live in one place for more than 2 or 3 years at a time. So it was really hard to form friendships, long-time friendships with people, because I kept constantly moving. But that was about to change once we got orders to move to Fort Stewart, Georgia. Around 2004. But we stayed off base while my dad served. We lived in Richmond Hill. And that's where I met this guy right here, JT, in Richmond Hill High School. So being in either band or choir was one of the requirements my parents made myself and my siblings do growing up. We just wanted to get exposed to the arts. So when we got to Richmond Hill, my parents pretty much signed me up for marching band against my will. Which is something I've never done. I've been playing a trombone, but I was pretty nervous about it. But it's safe to say that it was a decision that my parents made for me that has changed the trajectory of my life for the better. So with that said, one time at band camp, I met this random dude named Justin Taylor in the saxophone section that first day of band camp. And this was the beginning of a crazy but inseparable relationship with JT. So we developed a strong bond during our time in marching band, and it's safe to say, although I was skeptical, it ended up being one of the best years of my life growing up. Outside of school, we worked together at a couple places, such as a Henry Ford plantation doing grounds maintenance for a little while with Mark Tanner, And we also worked as hosts and servers at the Cracker Barrel down in Savannah off I-95 and stuff. Funny thing, I worked there for 15 years and I finally quit back in November. But there are too many nights to remember. Yeah. Done. There are too many nights to remember of all the stupid and crazy things we did as pyromaniac teenagers with all those years. We got the Axe body spray and we light it up and put the flames. And remember Patrick Fina when he was sleeping in the hotel room? He woke up to something interesting. But anyways, at the jobs that we had, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But I'll give you one little story about the Ford plantation. Remember that Toro cart that we had? We tried our best to kind of get the same shifts together, working on the grounds maintenance and mowing the lawn on houses such as like John Smoltz from the Braves back in the day. That was pretty cool stuff. But we saw this awesome, perfect grass ramp. And I was like, JT was driving. I was like, yo, dude, we just got to gun it and just get some air with this thing. And he's like, say no more. And he just floored it. And I think we got like 10 feet of air, and we landed. And we landed smoothly. It was a smooth ride, but the slamming of the brakes was not too good. We ended up running into a white picket fence. So that was just one little fun story. And then at Cracker Barrel, another thing. I don't know why Randy, our manager at the time, he couldn't tell us apart. And so we used to switch each other's aprons out. So he thought I was JT. He thought I was me. So it was something like that. But JT, I'll never forget those times that we were cruising around in your 2000 Toyota Avalon, jamming to Flip Fantasia. Yeah. Tip tap, Flip Fantasia. So once we went our separate ways to college around 2007, I was fortunate to continue to foster a relationship with JT. In all honesty, he's probably the first friend I've ever had where we constantly stayed in touch, even while living in different parts of the country. So you're my first friend I've ever been able to have that kind of bond, and that means a lot to me. Every time we found ourselves able to meet him. Every time we found ourselves able to meet up, it was like nothing ever changed. We continued to pick things up right where we left off, even if it was a year or two apart, but we'd still keep in touch. For an Army brat who constantly moves, I cannot say how fortunate I am to have a best friend in you, Justin. Even though it's been 2 decades and I'm still putting up with you. So if there's a takeaway for you guys that I want to give you, you should form lifelong friendships that you can have no matter the distance between all of us. JT, thank you. Yeah. I like this. Yes. Ah! All right. I'm almost done. All right. JT, you know I grew up with two annoying sisters, and I never had a brother, and I always wanted one, and it's safe to say I just want to let you know. Middle child, too. I wasn't that spoiled. Just want to let you know, JT, I've always considered you as my real brother. And I was thinking about JT's dad's speech last night at the reception dinner. He was saying that JT was never going to get married. He's never going to get married. He told me the same darn thing all the time growing up. And I was like, all right, cool, bet. All right. JT would always say the same things to me for years, and I always believed it. But then I saw JT posting photos on Facebook with his new girl, going on all these adventures and stuff. I was like, who's this? I eventually discovered it was Libby. So JT simply couldn't stop talking about you. And all the time on the phone, on texting, or whenever he called me or whenever we meet up. Haven't met her yet at the time, but I could instantly tell the way he talked about Libby and the pictures that you guys had. I knew this was just different. Then finally, a few short years ago, around the pandemic time, my girlfriend over here, Karen, and we finally got to meet you guys. The moments we were able to spend with you together since then have been few and far in between, but we knew they were a perfect match for them at that exact moment. And JT's father was right. We thought he wouldn't get married, but he just simply hadn't found the right girl yet. Only time would tell. And yet I can say with the utmost confidence that you are that person, Libby. We haven't been able to hang out as much, Libby, as I'd like to, living in different states, but I will say on the few occasions we've been able to meet up, even when you came down to Fort Lauderdale with us, we had some sandwiches and everything. I can see, yeah, we show you some bomb sandwiches. I can see how JT loves you and the impact you've had on him, and not just with all the plants that you have, but for real, I know you are his compass in his life, and I can see that. It's just different, I know this, and I wish you all the best moving forward. And with that, if you have a drink in your hand, I don't know why you haven't been sipping on it. So if you have some left, let's raise a toast to Justin and Libby. And then I know he wasn't on the list, but Ian over here would like to make a speech. So get up here. Come on.